Hi, this is Mark Littleton, the minister of the Word for the Athens Church of Christ, with today's 3-minute sermon. We have been looking the last several days at some warning signs that just might indicate our lives are too filled with too many things. Our lives have become too busy, and we're exceeding our own personal capacity. Today, I want to wrap up that series with one more warning sign that I think we might need to pay attention to. I want you to think of these warning signs sort of like the low battery indicator on your cell phone. Your phone is like mine, right? When you get down to 20% or maybe 10% or 5%, your phone will give you a warning and say, hey, you are about to exceed the capacity of your battery. You need to recharge this thing. And these warning signs are sort of like that in our lives. Hopefully they'll get our attention, they'll make us slow down, and they'll make us reevaluate some things in our lives. Here's the last warning sign I want to give you today. It very well may be that your life is too busy and your schedule is filled with too many things if you are constantly, always unhappy, but you don't know why. You say, Mark, what do you mean? Here's what I mean. Here's what we do as human beings. There's some relationship in our life that isn't what it ought to be. Maybe it's our relationship with God. Maybe it's our relationship with another person. But whatever it is, there's some relationship that just isn't what it ought to be. But instead of working on the relationship, which is hard work, right? Instead of working on the relationship, here's what we do as human beings. We try to medicate ourselves with busyness. You know, if I can just fill my plate with so much stuff, and if I can just fill my schedule with so many things, if I'm just going so fast and everything is so hectic, then I don't have to stop and think about this relationship that isn't right. And what happens is, even though we're moving really fast, we still find ourselves unhappy. And sometimes we don't know why. It very well could be because we've raced right past this relationship that needs some attention, this relationship that needs some work. We've raced right past that in order to fill our lives with all of this other stuff. Maybe we need to back up and we need to think about working on that relationship. That's my challenge to you today. Maybe today your relationship with God isn't what it ought to be, and you know it isn't what it ought to be. Maybe you ought to work on that relationship. Or maybe today your relationship with another person isn't what it ought to be. Maybe that other person is even your spouse. Maybe there's some marriages and you're watching this today and you know that your marriage isn't what it ought to be. Maybe you're even as a couple filling your lives with a lot of activity, maybe even things that you're doing together, but you're not really working on the aspects of that relationship that needs some work. My challenge to you today is look at your pace, look at your schedule. If you find yourself constantly unhappy, but you're moving really fast, maybe it's because you're not working on these relationships. Slow down, think about the people in your lives that maybe you need to be working on your relationship with them. Think about your relationship with God. And that's the ultimate relationship that all of us need to be working on. Lord willing, we will see you again tomorrow for another 3-minute sermon. God bless.